Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Tato, back again with the recipes that make you wanna cook. On today's video, we are making a delicious cottage pie. Stay tuned. Let's get started, guys, and as usual I will leave all the ingredients in the description box down below. Now let's take a quick rundown of the ingredients. We're gonna need some ground beef or minced meat, that's about 1 kg, some potatoes that are just cubed, 2 to 3 tomatoes that I just diced up, 1 to 3 medium onions, and for our seasonings we're gonna need some thyme, some green onion seasoning, some crushed garlic and chili, aromat, 6 gun spice blend, some chutney, and some rosemary. Now, of course, you can substitute all of this with what you like. If you don't like to add chutney, you can substitute that with a little bit of honey. That's gonna help to suppress the acidity from the tomatoes. Now, in my hot pot, I'm gonna add some oil and some our onions, and we're gonna saute them until they're translucent. That's about 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, now I'm gonna add my crushed garlic and chili. I think I added about 3 teaspoons of that. Now, this mix of garlic and chili is not that hot. It was really not giving what I wanted it to give. So, if you were really looking for that high heat flavor, you can use fresh chili or the crushed chili flakes and just use the normal crushed garlic or even fresh garlic. But otherwise, you can go for the garlic and chili mix and see if you can add more if you like to get that maximum heat. We're also gonna add our thyme in there and stir it in and cook about 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're gonna start adding our ground beef. Okay, we're gonna cook our ground beef through on medium high heat until it is perfectly browned. Alright, our beef is perfectly browned. Now what I'm gonna do is take a big spoon and skim out the excess liquid or oil. The other thing that you can do, you can just fry the ground beef on a separate pot, and once it's really cooked through and brown, you can just remove it from that pot and transfer it into the onions and chili mixtures. So there's another way of doing it. I just really wanted to use one pot, so I decided to skim it before I proceed. So now I'm gonna add my tomatoes, then I'm gonna add the rest of the seasonings, which is the rosemary, the chili stock cube, the beef chili stock cube, and our 6-gun grill spice blend. Now I did not add any salt to my ground beef because I feel that the spice blend has enough salt. Whenever I'm using a spice blend instead of singular spices, I tend to shy away from using salt because the spices already have salt. So you may have a higher salt tolerance. Oh Lord. You may have a higher salt tolerance than I do. Just taste your ground beef and gauge the flavor you're going for. If you need a lot more salt, you can go ahead and add more. You can pair that well with some black pepper as well. So just taste and add according to your flavor profile. Okay, we're gonna let that cook. We want the spices to cook through, so I'm gonna cook this for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then we're gonna proceed with adding our chutney. Remember, you can substitute this with honey. That was gonna help to combat the acidity of the tomatoes, and it's also gonna give a really nice, a little bit of a sweet flavor. It's very nice. Then I'm gonna add my frozen vegetables. Now if you don't want to add frozen vegetables, you can just use the fresh vegetables like a potato, your carrots, your green beans, your sweet corn, or whatever vegetable that you want to add. Just make sure that you cut them relatively small into bite-sized pieces, maybe less than a bite size, but yeah, so that they don't take a lot of time to cook through. Now if you can notice, I did not add any liquid to this. I don't want to go for the soupy texture. I want it to be firm and you can taste the mincemeat. Honestly, if there's just too much liquid into the mincemeat, I feel like I'm eating soup. So yeah, now here I just made a slurry of some little bit of flour, a little bit of water, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of the fat back into the dish. So I did reserve a little bit of the oil that I skimmed out, and I'm just gonna pour it in there. I just want to thicken the ground beef. I'm also gonna go add a little bit, just a little bit of water, because I also wanted it to be juicy. As much as I don't want it to be soupy, I don't want it to be dry as well. So just, kind of in the middle, gauge the consistency that you're going for. So this was just firm. It was really, really nice. And we're basically done, guys. We're basically done with the mince. Now we're gonna get started with the mashed potato. Look at those colors. Beautiful, very beautiful. Now in another pot, I'm gonna add the potatoes with some water to cover and boil that until the potatoes are done and can be mashed easily using a fork or a potato masher, whatever that you are using. When they're done, I'm just gonna remove them from the water and transfer them into a heat-proof dish, and we're gonna add our flavors. And yeah, so for the flavors, I'm gonna add some aromat, some green onion seasoning. I'm also gonna add a little bit of margarine. You can also use butter, and some milk for that creamy fluffy texture that we want to go for. Now also keep tasting your mashed potatoes so that you know you have enough salt, you have enough flavor in there. So if you feel like you need a little bit more, just go on ahead and add it. Now, if you're still watching at this time, please do subscribe if you haven't already. Welcome to the family. Press the notification bell to get notified for when I post a new video, and that is twice a week. There's always something to try out on the channel, guys. I hope you do try the recipes, and I hope that if you do try the recipes, you make your own twist to it, you add your own spin to it, make it nice, make it your own. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment down below and show me some love, and I'll show you back some love. And yeah, so this here is just me adding more flavor because I felt like it was not popping, so we want it to pop. I'm also gonna add milk, guys. Now this part is really optional, but I love cheese, so I thought, why not? I added a little bit of cheese into the mashed potato. If you don't want to do that, it's perfectly fine. This I use cheddar cheese. You can use Gouda, you can use mozzarella, you can use Parmesan. I think you can also dabble with feta because feta doesn't really melt in the oven, so it also give you that kind of bite, that texture, added texture to the dish. So yeah, you can just play around with it. If you don't like cheese, that's perfectly well. You can also add a little bit of bacon in there, yeah, go wild. Okay, now that's done. We're gonna assemble everything. Now I used a spring foam cake pan because at the time I did not have a baking dish, and the other pan that I had was just a huge one, and this recipe was a small batch, so I didn't think it was wise to use a really big pan, so I decided to use the spring foam pan. The disadvantage is that because it is a spring foam pan, the oils or the liquid from the ground beef will seep through the pan. So if you're gonna use that, I suggest that you get another pan that you can put the cake pan inside so that it collects all the residue of that oil or liquid. So you just want to pat it down, and I'm also going to add some cheese in between the layers. I love cheese, so I can never have too much cheese, like how do you gauge if somebody's having too much cheese, So now I'm just gonna lay out the mashed potato on top and smooth it out. This was so creamy, it was so fluffy as well. Now the other thing, that if you're not gonna add cheese on top, because obviously I'm gonna add cheese, you might have figured it by now. You can place your mashed potato in a piping bag with a star nozzle or a nozzle that you like, and pipe little spirals around on top of the the ground beef. So that's another presentation that you can go for. It's gonna be really nice and yeah, really beautiful. So you can try that if you're not gonna add any cheese on top. It will be a very nice eye pleasing presentation. Now I did try to make a little spiral with my fork, and I don't know why I did that, because I was gonna add cheese on top of the mash anyway, and it was not gonna be visible. But yeah, I just think I had a little blunt moment there. I believe we all have those moments once upon a time in life. So yes, so like I told you that the liquid or the oil will seep through the bottom of the springform pan, so you just want to make sure that you put it inside a deeper pan so that it can collect this oil, so you don't want to ruin your oven, and that's a lot of work to clean. So I just garnished with a little bit of my green onion seasoning on top, and goes into the oven for 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes until everything is golden brown on top and to your liking, and you can cut through and indulge. Now, the favorite part for me was the mashed potato, because it was so creamy, it was so fluffy, it just melts in your mouth, paired with that ground beef. The flavors are simple, but they're delicious. And that's how it looks, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give this